Hello everyone. Today we'll be dealing with the approaches to language varieties. Or to make it simpler, we have heard of words like synchronic, diachronic, dialect, register, ideolect, etc. We know what these words are. But then when asked for exam, you don't know how to define it. You don't know how to put it into words. So we are going to clear that problem today. We are going to deal with each of them in detail. So let's go to the video. So we'll deal with synchronic and diachronic first. Synchronic is derived from the Greek word syn, which means with, and chronos, which means time. So synchronic approach deals with the state of a language at a particular point of time. It is also called descriptive study of language in that particular point of time only. Okay, whereas word diachronic on the other hand is derived from the Greek word dia, which means across, and chronos, which means time. So it deals with the developments or stages the language has passed through and the probable causes and results of the changes that have come up in a language. If we attempt to study English, for instance, English in Chaucer's time or English in present day, that would be an example of synchronic study. And the evolution of English uh, will be, the evolution of English language would be a diachronic approach. Okay. Now comes dialect. The pronunciation of words or structure of a language may vary according to the region, education, association, etc. of the user of the language. So the same language may have different regional varieties. The variety of a language used by a particular group of individuals is called a dialect. The dialects of a language are mutually intelligible to their speakers. In short, a dialect is user oriented. The users of that particular dialect understand each other, but not necessarily others. Okay. Dialects may be of two types regional dialects and class dialects or social dialects. Regional dialect is the dialect spoken in a particular geographical area. For example, Yorkshire English or Kentish English, like that. Regional dialects are now dying out and universal variety of languages coming up nowadays. The growth of education, the spread of newspapers, magazines, radio, television, etc., have been the chief reasons for the leveling of dialectical variations. The spread of standard English has been another factor for the same. And within a regional dialect, there may be other variations based on education, occupation, socio-economic status of the speakers. Dialects based on such social stratifications are called social dialects depending upon the social class to which the speakers belong, or caste dialect as in Indian social context. For example, in Kerala, the Thrissur dialect is a regional dialect and Nambudiri dialect is a caste dialect. Both use the same language Malayalam, but then the Malayalam that is spoken in Trivandrum is rather different from the Malayalam that is spoken in the northern part of Kerala. So that is the regional dialects that is causing the difference for the same, and different castes use the language in with their own modifications for the same. So that is the social dialect. Now what is Ideolect? The I of Ideolect can be related to that I of an individual. That is, no two persons speak exactly alike. Okay, there are invariable differences of speech habits between individuals. The characteristic peculiarity of an individual's use of a language is called dialect. For example, Shakespeare's style or Bacon's style or Milton's idiolect or Shakespeare's idiolect. So that is the difference. the particular way in which a particular individual uses the language. Nobody else can replicate the same. Only that is for that particular individual only. When another person uses it, there will be some amount of invariable differences in the way the second person is going to use it. So that Ideolect, the I of an ideolect can be related to the I of an individual. The individual's use of a language is called ideolect. For example, Milton's ideolect or Shakespeare's ideolect, Chaucer's ideolect, and the like. Okay. Now the last one is register. Apart from the regional and social variations, there are variations of a language depending on the kind of subject matter dealt with or the disciplines or occupations engaged in or the fields of activity, etc. So such varieties with features determined by the context or the field of discourse are referred to as register. For example, a lawyer, while talking to his fellow lawyer, uses a legal language. Whereas when he talks with his friends or family, that will not be the usage of language that he is going to make. So, the different registers include, for example, legal register, medical register. Doctors talk to each other in a medical language, which we as a layman may not necessarily understand. So, he puts it in different words for us to understand. For example, if a very old man or a very weak person comes to him and he feels this he may not understand it in a language which normal people understands, he will put it in a much more simpler sense. So that is register. That is according to the discipline or the occupation or the field of activity, the language used changes. Okay, now what was dialect? Dialect was user oriented, right? The people of one particular region uses a language in a particular way, which may not be intelligible to people of another area. So that is dialect. Dialect is user oriented. The user uses the language in his own way. Whereas a register is use oriented because here it is different as in a legal register or as in a medical register, like that. It changes with the subject matter dealt with or the discipline or the occupation the speaker is involved in. Okay. So in this video we discussed about synchronic study. Synchronic is the study of language at a particular point of time. Diachronic, study of language over a period of time. Dialect, which involves regional dialect or social dialect, which is the way in which a particular group of individuals use a language. Then an ideolect is an individual's use of a language, that is Shakespeare's ideolect or Milton's ideolect. Then comes register, according to the occupation engaged in. People use language in different varieties, that is for example a medical register or a legal register. So that was what we studied today. So happy learning. Thank you for the day.